Welcome guys to yet another episode on my YouTube channel CCTV. So today's topic is balance scorecard. So we're going to talk about balance scorecard. I'm sure most of you have heard of this term called balance scorecard. So what exactly a balance scorecard means. So today we are going to cover what is a balance scorecard, what are different balance scorecard perspectives, what are the strategic objectives, and what is a strategy map. So to begin with, let us define what is a balance scorecard. So balance scorecard is basically a strategic performance management system. So it has three components to it. The first one being that it helps the companies set their strategic goals. Second one, that it helps the companies to define their action plans that will deliver those strategic goals. And the lastly, it helps the companies to develop the KPIs and metrics that will help them monitor the delivery of those strategic goals. So that is what a balanced scorecard in total means. And you'll be amazed to know that about 80% of companies across the world use the balanced scorecard approach. So what balanced scorecard basically does is, let's say for example, a company is making a lot of money today. So it's making a lot of money today, but there is no surety that it's going to make the same amount of money in future as well. So when we talk about business, we don't talk about short-term goals. We talk about long-term goals, because we need to, as a business, we need to maximize stakeholders' value. As a business, we need to maximize profit. As a business, we need to maximize revenue. And how are we going to do it? We are going to do it if we have a balanced approach between the strategic goals and the financial goals of the organization. So it basically connects the dots between the various components of strategic planning and management. It also creates a visible connection between the projects and the programs on which people are working on. It also measures and tracks the success by the way of KPIs and metrics, and it also aligns the mission, vision, and strategy of the organization. So there are four perspectives majorly used in balanced scorecard. So mostly commonly these are the perspectives which are being used across the organizations. But if anybody wants, you can add one more, two more, depending on business to business. So I've seen balance scorecards with 6 perspectives as well. So we're going to cover these perspectives now. The first perspective is the financial perspective. So in financial perspectives, if I say what is my first thing that I need to do as a company, I want to make money, I want to grow revenue. So here I define my financial goals. So in the financial perspectives, I define my financial goals, I define the action plan, how I am going to achieve those financial goals, and I also develop the metrics and KPIs which will help me monitor that whether I am able to achieve those strategic goals or not. The second is customers and stakeholders. Here I define what exactly my customer wants. Do I have to introduce new product? Do I have to target a new market? Do I have to change my marketing strategy? What is exactly my customer is looking for? How should I make my customer satisfied? So here I basically develop the customer and stakeholder related goals, make an action plans to achieve those goals, and develop the KPIs and matrix to measure the performance. Then the third one is internal processes. So in internal processes, I look at my internal processes, what exactly I'm doing currently, what can I do better to improve my output, throughput, what I can do better to improve my customer perspective. So here I basically make my internal process related goals and the action plans and develop the KPIs and metrics to monitor the performance on that. The lastly is the learning and growth, which also known as organizational capacity. So here, there are 3 components to it. First is human capital. What kind of skill set do I have? Do I have to increase my skill set? Do I have to hire more people? Do I have to recruit more people? What kind of skill set do I need to hire? Do I have to give, conduct some trainings to improve the skills of my employees? The second component of this perspective is organizational capital, which is basically the culture and the leadership. The third one is the information capital, which is basically the data flow, the data systems, the infrastructure, the technology that I'm using. So these are basically the enablers which will, help me in achieving those strategic goals. So a balanced scorecard will only be successful when uh, when there is a handshake between all these four perspectives, when there is a cause and effect relationship between these perspectives. So if my enablers work well, my internal processes will improve. If my internal processes will improve, my customers and stakeholders will be happy. They will get better services, and if my customer and stakeholder get better services, my financials will grow. So just to give you an example, in a private sector organization, this is how it works. So there has to be a cause and effect relationship between these perspectives. So the firstly, organizational capacity or learning and growth, this, if we improve the internal capacity, if we improve the skill sets of our employees, if we improve our technology that we are using, if we improve the uh, processes that that are involved in hiring the resources, we change our recruitment process, we relook at our recruitment process and hire the right candidates, what will happen then? So if this internal capacity is improved, it drives the internal process improvement in internal processes. So if the internal processes will improve, it will derive improvement in customer and stakeholder satisfaction. So if this improves, if the customer is satisfied, if the stakeholder is satisfied, it will improve the financial results. However, in a case of a public sector organization, it's a different ball game altogether. So what exactly is in a public sector? So if internal capacity improves, the internal processes will improve, which will derive fiduciary result, which you can say financial results. And the ultimate goal of a public sector organization is customer and stakeholder satisfaction. So this is how this balanced scorecard works. There has to be a close cause and effect relationship, a close handshake between these four perspectives. If the strategic goals are, if you have defined the strategic goals for a particular perspective but haven't defined any action plan, your balanced scorecard will fail. If you have developed action plan but you have not developed metrics and KPIs to monitor the performance, your balanced scorecard will fail. So it has to have all these components working closely together, for the balanced scorecard to be successful. So strategic objective is basically are the actions that we must implement in our day-to-day activities to see improvement in our strategies. It can break down into abstract concepts like mission, vision, and then into an actionable steps, achieving these strategic objectives. So what exactly is strategy map? I'm sure we all have seen maps. So map is basically a graphical presentation showing a path of where you want to reach. So if we talk about, say, for a very layman example, a Google map, you enter a destination, it tells you, it gives you a map with directions to it, from where you have to go, which road you have to take, where you have to turn right, where you have to turn left, then you reach your destination. Similarly, a strategy map is a map which basically is a graphical representation what steps we need to take to achieve our strategic goals. So let me give you an example of strategy map. So a strategy map, as we said, is a simple graphical presentation which shows a logical cause and effect connection between strategic objectives, and it is one of the most powerful elements in the balanced scorecard approach. So strategy mapping can vastly improve any strategy communication effort. So if you write down a strategy on a 5-page document and you circulate it in the organization, I'm sure most of the people won't read it, because most of the people are visual learners. We love to see images, we love to see pictures, and then we understand it more clearly. So strategy map exactly does that. So instead of a written document, it's basically a diagram, or you can say a flow chart, or you can say a map, a graphical presentation, which basically is easy for everyone to understand and follow. So this is how a strategy map looks like. So here we can see there are four perspectives. We have organizational capacity, internal processes, customer, and financial. So here you can see, we have some, goals, lined up here. So in the organizational capacity, the first goal is to improve knowledge and skills of my human capital. The second goal is to improve my tools and technology that I'm using. So if I improve these, what will happen? My internal processes will improve. So I will be able to increase my process efficiency, because remember, the three components of the organizational capacity or learning and growth are the enablers for the organization to achieve those strategic goals. So if I increase my process efficiency, I can lower my cycle time. So if I lower my cycle time for a customer, it's a lower wait time, and customer is satisfied. So I will be able to improve my customer retention. So if I improve my customer retention, it will improve my revenue. It will increase my revenue. If my process efficiency increases, I will lower down my cost. So if my cost is lower down, my profits will increase, and if my profits will increase, my financial results will be good for a longer term as well. So this is basically balance scorecard in very simple terms. I hope that you like this video, and if in case you have any questions, please do leave your questions in the comments, and I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you for watching, and you have a great day.